Right, so looking at the letting agency scenario from, I think it's 2019, for Mason Thompson Letting Agency. Two forms. The first one's fairly straightforward. It's the standard add a new whatever. The second one's a little bit more complicated, and we're going to resolve this or approach it by using what's known as a combo box. You could use a list box, but in this situation I think a combo box is better. So let's have a look at what we've got to do. First instruction, the form should not include invalidation for any fields. You don't need to. All we're going to be doing is selecting a branch from a list and displaying information. The only thing we're going to enter is down here when we are being asked to enter a new property management fee. That's the only thing we're going to be entering, so that's the only thing that's going to need validating, and all we want to do there is to make sure it's a number. So there's no real validation. It said there is not to include an automated routine to save the data. Fine, we're not saving any data. The purpose of this form seems to be just to give us an indication of what a new management fee may look like. It's not actually being recorded or saved anywhere. Now, the user needs to be able to select a branch address, which then displays this lot. So the first thing to approach these and tell your students is before they start creating queries or forms, just get an understanding of what data we've got. Now, if we have a look at this, I've just been in and had a look. There are 4 tables. The main one we're going to need is branch, because in branch we've got the branch address, and that's got our link to the branch ID and the property management fee. Branch ID is important because that is used to link us to the manager. Now, the thing about the manager is that manager may actually have the status of not being active anymore. So if we actually look at branch manager, we'll see there's a branch manager in here whose status is no longer being used. So that management ID for 1 is no longer used. So we're going to have to exclude that at some point. We don't have the list of all managers coming up, just the ones that are current. So this is the data we've got in here. So we're going to need branch ID because it's got the information there. We're going to need the manager surname, which is there, and we're going to get to that by that. So whatever query we put together is going to need these 3 fields. We don't need table owner at all. So let's have a look at the query we need to create first of all. So I'm going to create a query in design mode. So I've already said we need branch, we need branch manager, and we need manager, and you can see the relationships are there. I'm going to be interrupted every now and again by one of these. This is a kitten. So the first thing we're going to be searching the branch address, so I'm going to put that in first. And I want to know the property management feed, or the town, property management fee, and what else was there? Town, manager surname, property management fee. And I'm going to put these in the order that they've asked for them. So manager surname, get down here. So I've got town, manager surname, town, manager surname, property management fee. As I said before, I've noticed already that there's one of the statuses here is not, what was it? Can't remember. Table manager, table branch manager. So there was a status here of no longer manager. Now what I want is only current manager, so I'm just going to copy that, put it into my query down here as a criteria. So when I run this, it only lists current managers. If I didn't have this, that little filtering of this little criteria, I'm pretty certain it would show me 2 managers here for Calypso Hill. So I've got 2 different managers here. We only want to display the current manager. So in the design, I took that out by putting current manager in, and that doesn't need to be displayed, so I'm going to hide it. So this is my query. It's got my branch address, my town, manager surname, property fee. The address, search bomb, town, manager surname, property management fee. That's my query. So I'm going to save that using good old BTEC's convention, query fee search. I'm going to call it bang. That's my query. So the rest of it's can all close now. And I'm going to save the layout of that as well. Boom. So let's create our new form. Form design. Combo box is what we're going to use. So there's my combo box. I'm just going to drag that in. And I'm not a big fan of wizards, but I'm going to use the wizard this time. And there's the query I've just created. And I want everything in there. Bang. Next. Now it's asking for a sort. Now this is tricky because all the branches start, the addresses start with the street number. Street number doesn't mean an awful lot, but I might as well stick with it. So we're going to sort on the branch address, and that's all I need to know. That's fine. Label, because this is a search box, I'm going to say enter address. And what you get your students to do is have a nice label at the top saying please enter or search whatever. So I'm just going to change that to 14. Double click in the corners, these will actually auto size. And because it's an entry field, I'm just going to change the format of that to sunken. I just like doing that. So format, special effect, change it to sunken. So when I view this now and click that, it's showing all of the fields. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 fields. Now I actually only want it to show the address, but for now I'm going to leave that there like that. I'm going to leave it with all my fields showing just so I can check and test that what I'm doing is correct. So what I want to add now is a box for the town, surname, and the management fee. I hope you like cats. So to do that, I'm just going to go back to design. Going to bring in one of these, just a text label. I keep referring these to unbound fields, but this is what they are really. This is going to be a new label. Again, I'm going to format that to 14, so it's big enough to read. Like that. And the first one they've asked for is town, so I'm going to call that town. Now the query I've put together has the name of the town on it. It's here. There we go. It's in the second column. So for the contents of this, I want to refer to this box, which I haven't given a name yet, and I want to refer to the second column that's in that box. One thing to bear in mind, whenever you use an array of data in IT, I'm sure you know this, the first field, the first position is always 0. It's not 1, it's 0. So these are not fields 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're fields or columns 0, 1, 2, and 3. So I want to refer to column. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give this a more sensible name. I don't want it to be called combo, whatever. So I'm going to call this address. No, I can't call it branch. This is my branch that I'm looking up. I'm going to call this town. You'll get marked down if you're not using names. You just will. And that's good practice wherever you are on the planet. Use names. And I'm a stickler for formatting, so I'm just going to format town and enter address like that. So this is now called town. I want it to be equal to the second column that's in my combo box, which is, if I look at my query, the second column in my query. That's the query. Not save this, how bad is it? Form fee search. Getting old. Fee search. So in here, I want to refer to my combo box, which is called branch, and I want to refer to column 2, which is actually column 1 because the first position is always 0. So let's go to this one. Let's go to data. I'm going to go to the expression builder just so I can make this bigger. And I'm just going to go equals. Now branch is already there. Look, I can just select branch. Now what I want to refer to is the second column, which is column 1, 0, open brackets, and then just column. CILU and close the brackets. So what I'm saying is look at the combo box called branch. In particular, look at the column, and I want column 1 because the first column is 0, and that should do it. If I look at this now, when I change this one, if I go to 18, that's Uxbury. If I go to Bayside, that's near the Kirkholme, and that's Hartborough, and so on. So what's happening, whenever I change this, this is automatically changing. There's no need to re-query anything. I'm not. All I'm doing is just viewing a different record in my query. I'm just selecting the record that I want. When I select the record, the box below is automatically being updated. Simple. So what I'm going to do now is go back to my design, and I now want manage surname, which is the third column. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to call that manager. And in this one, all I need to do is change the number of the column from 1, and I believe it is now. I'm just typing in this with my incredibly bad eyesight. 2. So I view it now. There we go. So I should have Oldbrook and Haycroft. Oldbrook, Haycroft. Westfall and Loon. Look, I'm picking the names I can pronounce here. Okay, so this is working fine. And finally, of course, I want my management fee. So just the same, I'm going to, I've already copied it. It's going to bring it down. Keeps it nice and consistent, the style as well, if I'm just copying it. I'm going to call that management fee. And this time, I'm going to make it column 3, which is the final column. Like that. So there we go. Now, the more astute amongst you will notice that this is not formatted as currency. A couple of funny little things here. If I set this format currency here, I'll just chuck something at some cats. It won't make any difference. Look, it still says 198. It's not changing the format. I don't know why, but when you have an expression in here, it seems to ignore whatever formatting you've assigned to that box. So it's not working. So you need to format it in the expression, which is actually very straightforward. Here's the expression. My management fee is that. Now, I'm just going to make some space there, and I'm just going to write format. And when I get to C for currency, nice there, look. Select it. It opens the brackets for you. Let's go to the end, close the bracket. So what I'm saying here, I've got a function that is format to currency. The object of the formatting is within these 2 brackets, and it's whatever was in that branch. So when I look at that now, it is 198. So at the wrong end for me, I want everything aligned differently. So while that's selected, I'm just going to align that the other way. Wasn't doing that the other day as well. So for whatever reason, that isn't lining up, which really winds me up. Bang. There we go. So all nicely lined up as well. So far, so straightforward. Beautiful. So what I've got to do now is give the user a box where they can enter a management fee. So I'm going to use another box. Remember that was a text box that I dragged on. The reason I'm copying them is because I don't need to redo the any of the formatting. So move it down a little bit. And I'm just going to create new fee. Oh, I'll hit insert at some point. Right, there's the insert button. One day the world will standardise keyboards. Now, this, I forgot to name that, but it's called Text 6. How bad is that? That is called Text 6. That needs to be called fee, I would say. Oh, for God's sake. Come over here. There we go, it's called fee. And I'm going to call this while I'm at it, new fee. No, I'm not going to call it increase. So I forgot what I was doing for a minute, which means that needs to be increase as well. Don't you love live TV? So increase is actually going to be an input field. So data is going to be nothing in data whatsoever. I'm going to format it as general number, just to prevent people typing text into it. Which it won't stop them doing. It'll just give them an error message. And we're going to call it increase. Bang, and that's it. I'm just going to format it because I like having my input fields as sunken. Personal choice. So my form looks like this, slightly out of line. And in here we're going to be typing our increase. If I put text in there, when I enter, it will give me a standard. The value you've entered isn't valid. The value enter isn't valid. There you go. Back to design. That's bugging me now. Yes, that's not lined up. There we go. So finally, I'm going to copy that one again. I want to have new fee. This is virtually done. New fee. Let's go and have a look at the data for this. I'm going to call it new fee. Really try and use sensible names for everything. In life, don't have variables called var1. Use what's known as self-documenting variable names, self-documenting names for everything. Self-documenting, when you look at it, it's obvious what it is. Right, data. So for this one, it's going to be different. What I want to have a look on my form. I'm going to keep the format currency there because that's valid. I want to format my answer as currency. What I want is, oop, what have I done? Thank God for Control Z, eh? I want what is currently in fee. Okay, and what I want to add to it is fee multiplied by the percentage increase. So if the increase is 10, then I need to divide that by 100 and multiply a fee by it to get my percentage increase. I did do maths at some point, it was a long time ago. So I'm going to have fee multiplied by, I'll put some brackets, I can never remember the order that things happen. The field increase, which is to be divided by 100. You got it. And I think I need one more closing bracket. Need one more closing bracket? Yes, there we go. Okay. Will soon tell me. So let's have a look at what we got. So that's my fee, that's my increase. If I put 10 in there, what happens? My God, it looked like it's worked. But is that 10% of that? Well, the only way to check it is to get a small cat. You can use a calculator. Is to get, look, 211. I put 10%, times that by 1.1, it will give you 110%. 232.1, my God, it works. Pick another one. 208 times 10, well, you can see that's easy. 208 multiplied by 1.1 gives me 2,288. Okay, decimal place in the wrong place, but that's fine. Lots of decimal place. I'm trying to tell that to my bank manager, but you won't have it. Right, 211 multiplied by 1. 0.1 equals 232. So that, in a rather large nutshell, I almost said nutsack, it's a good thing I didn't. Nutshell is it. Final bit was the yearly income to be generated from the new management fee. Um, times that by 12. I'm sure you can figure that out for yourself. But that basically is the solution for this. Enjoy. So I'll stop this recording. So, just realised we're still displaying all four columns, which we don't want to. We actually only want to display the very first column. So to change that, we need to go back into our design and change the properties in our address field. So there's our address. We're going to go to Format. Now at the moment it says column count is 4. Now you'd think if I just change that to 1, it would just display the first column, which it does. But the problem is it makes the other fields inaccessible. So I can't see my manager, I can't see my management fee, and therefore my new fee isn't visible either. So by reducing the column count down to 1, I can't see these anymore on the form, which seems a bit daft to me, to be honest. So I have to keep this, the column count, at 4, so that I can still see them, so they're still visible to the other controls on the form. And the way to hide them is to change the column width to 0 for the columns you don't want, which is actually quite handy, because particularly when using the wizard and a table, the wizard will always put in that primary field, whatever the primary field is, whether you want it or not. So sometimes you either remove it from the you can't, unless you use a query, you can't remove it. So you want to put that first column to 0. So I'm to hide the other 4 fields. What I'm going to do is change the width of these to 0. Then they will not display. Same as you would do in an Excel spreadsheet when you use hide columns. Same thing. What happens if I just do that? I've just put it the first one to 2.54. Nope, still displays the other. So I've actually got to tell it to change the other field widths to 0. So semicolon between is the delimiter, and then 3 fields of 0. And now when I go back, all I've got displayed is the address. So there you go. That is how to create that form. Enjoy.